Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. Happy to have you here. Today we're going to be going over the Summer of Suffering Part 3, so that's the Photon fight. I guess first and foremost, I want to be breaking down kind of the nodes, Photon, the objectives, and of course, to start off, what you're facing is really the nodes here. So you're going to gain power passively. You can only use a special every 15 seconds, and don't let your power reach 0 or 3 bars. And most importantly, the final node here is if you can hit Photon's block with a light attack, it's going to reverse your power gain. The reason I say this one's the most important is because the other 3 nodes are going to knock you out of the fight, whereas this node is the one that's going to keep you in it, right? So if your power's creeping up too high, get a light attack on her block, and it's going to buy you some time. And I promise you're going to need it, right? Because this AI in particular is highly aggressive. She's trying to back you into a corner. She, like the other Summer of Suffering fights and other challenge fights, she wants to hold her specials if she can, because she's trying to get you in a bad situation here. So you need to use that node to your advantage and keep yourself in control. So here we're doing this first fight with Shang-Chi. So he fits one of the objectives, being medium size champion that's also a skill champion. So these are and objectives. So other people that can also do this fight are like Nick Fury. He might not be that great just because she's bleed immune. Bullseye, he can counter her miss function. Shang-Chi, Baron Zemo would be great for this fight. Falcon, the Patriot would also be really good for this. But the thing here isn't so much in finding a perfect RPG counter, because I do believe that any of those champions can do this, because really, like I said again, you're not fighting Photon, you're fighting the nodes. So keep in mind here, when she's not in her light form, you can dex your specials just fine. Otherwise, you're going to have to block them. Try not to push her to the special 2 when she's in that form, because you're going to eat some damage. So that'd be probably the one big no as far as fighting Photon herself. Otherwise, keep up with the nodes, watch that yellow timer, and keep control, I guess, in your court by using the node I mentioned to hit her block when it's time, to keep that under control for yourself. I'd recommend doing it earlier than you think. A lot of times you don't want to be at 2 bars of power when you realize, oh, I've still got 10 seconds on the timer and I need to get my power down, because I can promise you at that point she's gonna have like 2 bars of power and she's gonna be stalling you out. It's almost like they do it on purpose. It's kind of part of the design. So definitely do it earlier. I'd pay attention to the timer once you reach 1 bar of power and make that decision there. Like, do I need to hit her block, or am I gonna get a special off in time? And so this is going to be the finisher for that fight. And we're going to move on to the next one. Next objective, at least. And that's 2022 champions. And in this fight, I was a little upset. I'm using Galen here. And I had gotten the solo. And I did not record it. So that really made me upset. But I do have proof at the end. But I went back in and got this fight just so you can see kind of how this one works. With Galen, again, strategy is the same. You want to be controlling your power gain to keep yourself in control and not Photon. But with Galen specifically, as most of you I'm sure know, you want to build up Harvest to as high as you can, to where it's comfortable. Don't be risking it to get to max Harvest. But get it pretty high if you can. And then I usually would just bait out a heavy attack from her and activate the Harvest, and then time your special correctly, right? Because the Harvest is what's really going to get your damage here. The Incinerates and Galen himself aren't doing too much. It would be an extremely long fight if we were doing it that way. Or, of course, you can use your Striker to do the same thing. Also, I guess a tip here is with her special 2 dex, it's not too hard. I would say, though, that 3rd beam comes a lot later than you think it does. It seems like oftentimes as soon as she goes up into the air, you want to dash back for the Dex, it's later than that. It's a good couple seconds as she jumps up. So that's just a tip. Go ahead and practice that, and I think you won't be as scared of the special 2. But of course, again, don't push her into this light form when she's got a special 2. The special 1 you can deal with. Either wait it all out or just block through it. You know, well-timed blocks preferred, of course. So here's that Dex right here. Oh, and I guess I missed it. Never mind. Nonetheless, though, we just keep this fight going. So remember, pretty much it's... What I would do as I'm doing this fight is when your power's going up, once you reach one bar of power, check your timer to see where you're at. If it looks good, like the timer's going to run out and you've got plenty of time, don't worry about it. You know, find a good spot for you to throw a special 2. If the timer looks like it just began and you're at 1 bar of power, I would definitely think about hitting into her block. Other champions that can do this fight, at least for the 2022, I've heard of people doing it with Valkyrie, because you don't want to hit her block too much, obviously. You just kind of do the fight like normal and throw your specials into her block. But Valkyrie can do it. Shuri can definitely do it. Galen. Hulkling is great for this fight. I don't have a Hulkling at rank 5, so that's why I opted for Galen, but Hulkling would be great for this fight. And I believe, again, you can do it with any of these champions, to be honest with you. Obviously, some are easier than others. But, you know, if you've got a highly ranked Scorpion, who's a 2022 champion, give it a shot with him, see how it goes. You know, you don't have to nail these on the first try. And again, while I think it's cool to aim, that's kind of a goal for myself to get the solos on these so that I can show you guys, you know, a long-form version of the fight. Don't make that, you don't have to make that a requisite of yourself. Feel free to use a couple revives, as long as it's not breaking the bank for you. I would just practice it over and over again until maybe you get like 50% of her health in one go. You know, that would be a really good marker to use, probably. Other than that, with Galen again, so we're coming up on the part where it's almost the solo and I make a mistake. So I, you know, throw the special 2 here, then that's going to put her into the her light form. And then for whatever reason, I just think that I can Dex a special 1 here, and it definitely doesn't work out in my favor. Ooh, there it is. But right here is the proof. This was the first solo, just so that everyone can see that was done, you know. But that's the example fight. The final fight that I chose was, so this is for the Spider-Verse objective, and I chose Spider-Ham. He was the highest ranked Spider-Verse hero that I have. He might not be the very best for this fight. I think he's great for it just because I have a high ranking one. But if I had to choose somebody, it would probably be Silk on this one. As far as Spider-Verse heroes go, she's really, really good for this fight because with her auto evade, she can deal with her specials without taking damage, so it's something you don't have to worry about. Don't use the heavy chain, though, with Silk, because when you stun Photon, she's going to go untouchable, so that's not going to work out for you. That'd be the only thing to worry about. But otherwise, Silk would be a really good choice for this. Stealth Suit Spidey is actually great for this. He's kind of a little niche Photon counter. I wouldn't say super great, right? Photon's a tough defender, as is, but Stealth Spidey's a pretty neat counter for her. And so with Spider-Ham, the strategy is more, obviously, place all of the Porker Poppers that you possibly can on her. And you'll see, you know, obviously as those go off, as she's using her specials, you know, she's basically defeating herself in this case. And it's awesome. Spider-Ham's pretty squishy, though. That's the one thing I'd have to say, is definitely be careful. The one time she hit me in this fight, you know, I lost like nearly half my health or more. And then the chip damage doesn't help either. But again, just to I feel like I'm going to reiterate this tons of times, but use that node to your advantage in hitting her block with your light attack. The longer you can stay in the fight, the more time you have to make things happen. If you're pressuring yourself to get this fight done super fast, you know, I feel like there's just more, you're going to make a mistake somewhere, right? Throw a special at the wrong time, take degen damage. You know, reach 3 bars of power and basically die. Reach 0 bars of power and go down 2. Oh, something to note, actually, yeah. So when you do hit her block with your light attack, it wouldn't be a good time to use a special because, again, your power is draining down, and so that's what's going to force you to hit 0 bars of power. So you got to wait till that Petrify runs out, which will probably run out the timer too, and then you'll be able to throw your special with no problem. And there's the end of that solo with Spider-Ham. I hope these tips helped you guys out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.